Higher fuel prices and natural disasters are affecting how much you pay for all kinds of things in your kitchen. The Labor Department said food prices increased nearly 4% in February, the biggest one-month spike since 1974. Global prices for corn and wheat, soybeans, coffee, and other commodities have risen sharply in the past year. And that raises the price of animal feed, which has pushed up the cost of eggs, beef, and milk. Our Todd Dunn talked to folks at the farmers market.
As fuel prices go up, that's going to have a direct effect upon prices of food.
Dr. David Padgett, associate professor at Tennessee State University, says 80% of the food in stores is delivered by trucks.
I mean, we really don't realize how much of our food is transported by truck until those trucks stop rolling or gas prices go up. And then you can see the direct relationship.
Along with higher prices in gas, weather patterns have also affected food prices.
Weather factors that are associated with climate change contribute to crop failure, crop damage, and eventually higher prices of food.
They're coming from Chile to Mexico to Florida.
At the farmers market, the fruits and vegetables on the shelves have been shipped from other areas, affecting the prices.
This gas situation is awful, and with that, that makes it a lot worse.
Sheila Howe has been farming and selling vegetables for 48 years. She says produce prices are higher now, but when locally grown produce starts hitting the shelves, the prices will not be as high.
When homegrown stuff gets here, they'll see a big difference because our prices will be what we just have to have from, what we've raised and how much comes up and what doesn't.
Dr. Padgett says if gas prices drop, it should help lower the cost of our food. In Nashville, Todd Dunn, Nashville's News.
Now, local homegrown vegetables will start filling the shelves at the farmers market by mid-May. You can
What began in Wisconsin has arrived in Washington. Frustration with stagnant wages and the widening wealth gap.
There's no reason that everybody can't have a little bit of the pie. Not the top 2% shouldn't get everything.
The level of confidence in the U.S. system of government is the lowest in 35 years, according to a recent poll, as budgets go broke and both parties squabble.
Whose streets? Our streets!
Rage at the big corporations and lobbyists who are seen as hijacking U.S. democracy. These are the offices of one of the most powerful lobbying and public relations firms in Washington. Just floors above us, Wisconsin Republicans are holding a big-ticket fundraising dinner. But hundreds of activists have stormed and occupied these offices, demanding the return of collective bargaining rights in Wisconsin and across the United States, and saying that they see an attack on one as an attack on all.
Until we get the intention of the entire United States working class families, and will be in every state, in every city until the recognition is here.
It's a symptom of the growing unrest spreading across America as food prices rose 3.9% in February.
The cereal, the breakfast food, all that stuff is going to the roof.
Every time I go inside, I spend like $250, and I don't get a lot of food.
The largest monthly gain in 36 years.
That's the tragedy of inflation. It redistributes income from some people who get the new, or to the people who get the new money first, and from the people who has wages that do not rise.
Coupled with the highest gasoline costs for American households, expected to reach $2,800 this year, some say the Federal Reserve's monetary policies are squeezing regular Americans dry.
People are being stretched financially, and I think some of them are also galled because they see the dismissive attitude of the Federal Reserve.
And that speculation on Wall Street has brought more hunger to Main Street.
The American dream is a bust for the moment for a lot of people, but not, I would say, for the bankers and the speculators on Wall Street. They are nimble enough, and they operate in very liquid, marketable vehicles like stocks, bonds, commodities, that kind of thing, so that they're able to preserve their wealth in inflationary moments.
Unrest has even become the highlight of the 2012 campaign, but whether either party will be able to control it or harness it as frustration grows with the entire political system remains to be seen. Galen Ford, RT, Washington, D.C.
Hello everyone, welcome to Global Government News. Today is Wednesday, March 23rd, 2011, and I'm Darko. Welcome everyone, welcome to Global Government News. My website is www.ggnonline.com, that's ggnonline.com. I usually go through this in the beginning for new listeners, so if you're if you watch my videos from time to time, just kind of dismiss this and bear with me, but you can subscribe to my website and enter your email address here via FeedBurner. You can follow me on eBlogger right here, or if you have a Facebook account, you can follow me here. Although recently in the past week I haven't even been able to access my my Facebook account, so I can't access my Global Government News page on Facebook, and I can't access my Facebook information or my account. When I try to go in there and Facebook stuff like this and pretty much make it go viral, it doesn't work. So I can't post things on Facebook, and now Reddit won't let me post anything, and I've contacted them and they won't contact me back with an answer. So I know that they're censoring me. Do you support military operations that include the removal of Muammar Gaddafi, instituting a no-fly zone, embargo sanctions, and or deploying ground troops, which are all on the table? U.S. Marines have been deployed, although I'm not sure if they're on the ground inside Libya. But the no-fly zone is going on, the embargo and sanctions are going on, and they are trying to kill Gaddafi, even though they're saying that they're not. So you can go in there and check that poll. It's either yes, no, maybe, or not sure, and I just voted for the first one. I'm first, hey. Anyways, dollar gains as fear returns to currency markets. The dollar rose broadly Wednesday as Middle East violence, Japan's nuclear crisis, and Eurozone debt convulsions prompted a renewed interest in the greenback as an attractive safe haven option. Then we move on to European stocks drop for a second day amid concern Portugal may need bailout. That's right, Portugal will have a bailout forced down their throat. And says here, Egypt shares slump, sending index to two-year low after two-month closure. Egypt's benchmark stock index fell to the lowest level in almost 2 years after a two-month suspension amid a popular revolt that toppled the North African country's president. I've also come across a headline that said that there's actually tanks surrounding the stock exchange or the embassy, one of those, but I wasn't sure on the validity of it. So it says here, Euro drops for a second day ahead of EU summit on debt, Portugal budget vote. And moving on here to commodities, you see here, like I reported last time, commodities were spiking up here, just going up and up and up to the beginning of March, and then they started to fall recently, and then now after the Japanese quake, and then after Japan pumped trillions of dollars into their economy, and then now they're going right back up. So, but Brent crude is trading at $115 per barrel. It was down 25 cents. Then you have heating oil futures were down $2.12. Natural gas up about 8 cents, and gasoline was up $1.42. It says here, you move down to cocoa and coffee, which are big commodities. Cocoa, looking here at the U.S., was down $12. Coffee down 4, corn down 5, cotton down 4, wheat down 8 and 15. Sugar down, soy down $14. But moving on to precious metals, we have copper. Copper was up $11.45, and gold was trading at $1,438, up $10.80 per ounce. And silver is the story of the day. It's up $1.05, trading at $37.32. So keep your eye on silver. There's some analysts that think that it will go to $100 per ounce for silver. It's definitely undervalued in my view as far as a currency and its intrinsic value for use in computer components and whatnot. It says oil prices surge on Libya. Middle East unrest. Crude oil prices are on the rise as tensions in the Middle East and fighting between Gaddafi's loyalists and revolutionary forces, as well as a U.S.-led military intrusion, rages on. Says light sweet crude for April delivery settled up $1.67 or 1.6% at $104 a barrel on the New York Mercantile Exchange. Brent crude on ICE Futures Exchange recently settled up 74 cents to $115 a barrel. So that's what we were just reporting on. Crude oil increases to highest price in almost 30 months on Libya strikes. Crude climbed near a 30-month high as the U.S. and its allies attacked Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi's troops, and protesters clashed with government forces in Syria. That's right, Syria is next on the chopping block. So, and I've been reporting on that for at least 2 months now that Syria is going to be up next. Budget 2011, George Osborne fuels economy with surprise cut in petrol duties. So it says here, George Osborne has announced a surprise cut in fuel tax in a budget statement designed to help families and deliver growth and jobs. Treasuries erase gains as Federal Reserve acquires less debt than the average. Treasuries erase gains after the Fed purchased less debt than average under its $600 billion program of quantitative easing to support the U.S. economic recovery. Says gold near record, silver tops $37 on safe haven bet. Singapore consumer prices climb 5%, sustaining pressure to tighten policy. Then we have grain prices and discontent predicted to rise in China. And then we have Thailand planning fewer rice harvests, and pest fight means drop in exports, which means higher costs. Then we have police angry Taco Bell customer fires at officers. I got this article from Zero Hedge, and it's an AP story, basically kind of showing you inflationary rage. That's what it was referred to on by Tyler Durden, the author, and Zero Hedge was inflationary rage, and this is what you're going to start seeing more and more of. Me myself, I was just talking to some fellow veterans on the way to the to the eugenics hospital. And they were all having the same type of discontent, not just with the government, but just with the economic situation. They know what's going on. There are a lot of them are either unemployed or they're living on a fixed income, and they're just talking about the price rises everywhere and how they're squeezing people. Talking about using firewood because the gas prices are so high, and natural gas and heating oil and that. But this is what you're going to start seeing more and more of, is people just not being able to really even pay for food. I was mentioning to one of the other veterans was that I was just in Burger King, and I don't ever eat there, but I just ate there because I had a coupon, and I ordered a large fry, and I thought it was going to be, maybe $1.50, something like that. And they give me a medium fry. I checked the receipt, and it says $1.80. And I asked them, well, how much is a large fry? And they're like, almost $2.50 or $2.80 or something crazy like that. Almost $2.50 for a large fry. And I remember back in the 90s where you can buy a biggie fry, an extra large fry, more fries than you'll ever eat, and it was like $1.50. So there's little indicators that you can tell when fast food, which a lot of poor people eat, full of empty calories, start going up, then people start starving. Engine sensor shortage hits U.S. European automakers. Home resales remain depressed. Then we have U.S. new home sales unexpectedly fall to lowest on record, and Gary Schilling, and now house prices will drop another 20%. And check that out. All the links, or at least most of the links, will be posted unless I don't have enough room in the YouTube's video description to put them in there. Most of them will be in there. So nearly 20% of Florida homes are vacant. And then check this out. Detroit lost 25% of its population in the last decade. And moving on here, public pension fund squeeze. Then we have February federal budget deficit sets record. Then Portugal government may collapse before EU summit. And then Portugal votes to reject austerity, and the euro is tanking. So Portugal, like I said, votes to reject the austerity measures. Inflation could hit 5% within months, as Bank of England. Then Sainsbury sees slowdown in sales growth. Reported a sharp slowdown in sales growth, demonstrating how tough the consumer economy has become since the turn of the year. Then true U.S. debt exceeds world GDP by $14 trillion. Obama's 2010 budget deficit now 5 times larger than the nation's output. Then U.S. approaching insolvency, fixed to be painful, says Fisher. And then builders hit hard as job losses jump. Unemployment rises in nearly all metro areas. And if you can check out here, it says, forget the jobs recovery. The Gallup poll shows we're no better than last year, 10.3% in March of 2010. March of 2011, 10.2%. Then we have this, Japanese government's currency move will damage the economy more than the tsunami. And then we have this BBC article, U.S. Treasury to sell for $142 billion of mortgage assets. The Treasury said it will start selling $142 billion worth of mortgage-backed securities that it bought during the financial crisis, right? Toxic assets. Then PIMCO buying debt from emerging market rising stars as inflation looms, and they're looking at Russia and Brazil and other emerging markets. Then the World Bank says China can grow 8% for 20 years to become twice the U.S. size. Atomic cleanup cost goes to Japan's taxpayers. Of course, that's corporatism, right? Socialize the losses and privatize the profits. Uruguay's central bank raises benchmark rate to 7.5% as inflation surges. Please join me in part 2. This is GGN, and I'm Darko.